There's a huge difference between what it used to be with the manual reports and reading everything line by line. The tapes would get mailed into the office. You have to look at everything and take 2 or 3 weeks to get our final answer for every number and verify it against all the reports. Now everything's today. We can have everything we need today. Inventory controls, food, labor controls, cash controls, all those things, real-time data, as opposed to previously when it would take weeks and days, weeks, months to get all that information together. Obviously, go back to the real-time data, getting it right now. If we want to see what's going on right now in a restaurant, we can go see into the POS what they're doing today, what sales are today. It helps us get ready for tomorrow a lot quicker than it used to before. We can act on variances in any discrepancies that are occurring in the restaurants. We can act on them now instead of a month from now. And hey, this number was off. Go back and look at it as a month ago. So that's probably the biggest thing with the website, is that it's today's answers today.
With the website, we were able to determine that during a certain manager, this happened to be a general manager of a restaurant, during a bunch of his shifts that our beverage sales were almost non-existent, so they were 1 to 2% of sales. And so we looked at a couple of days that he wasn't working and saw that our beverage sales were more normal, including our drive-through percent of sales was very low when he was working, but when he was, when he was off, our drive-throughs was up a little higher. But only looking at a couple different days, it was kind of okay. What are we looking for? We couldn't put a real handle on what was wrong until this manager happened to go on vacation, and then we looked at a whole week, day by day by day, and determined that during this week while he was on vacation, our beverage sales were actually 10% of sales during this whole week, and our drive-through percentage was 55 to 60, where when he was working, it was down into the 30s. And as we just laid all this data out on a table and put it through into a spreadsheet format, we determined that this manager was, not reporting sales or doing error corrections or voids. In one instance with that one store, without going back too far, we figured we've lost $10,000, if not more, in that restaurant in a three-month time frame. One of the things that we've never been able to look at before, most recently, is look at we've been looking at our last hour of sales and labor. At that point, example being, we looked at a specific store and we saw they closed at 11, and their sales in the last hour for 5 days in a row was $30 to $40, but it was taking 2.5 hours. There were people still on the clock 2.5 hours after we closed. We were able to bring that up to the district manager's attention and to everyone's attention in other markets to look at your last hours and look at the labor. You take $9 an hour average hourly wage over 5 days a week, 2 times, you're talking thousands of dollars a month. Just waste is all it is. And without the SBOnet in the past, we never in a million years, unless somebody wanted to go to a restaurant, pull out timekeeping, which that's what we used to do in the old days, and that just took forever. We're able to look at certain stores where there are opportunities for improvement. Maybe take a market that's in Harrisonburg, and we can look at and say, you have a large discrepancy with other markets with number of large value sizing you're doing with the combos. There's an opportunity there that you have, and put a positive spin on it, so the district manager can go and create a contest for themselves in their own market, saying, okay, these stores do the most upsizing, large sizing, or whatever you want with that. Put a positive spin on that, so you can generate some sales and some profits with beverages.
It would take so long for us just to get our sales figures and our deposit figures and our food cost figures and our labor figures piece by piece, line by line, that we weren't really able to get into the details. I mean, we could look once a month at the actual register tape, how many cookies did they sell. Now I can go in there and say, this manager's doing a good job because from 2 to 5 every day, there's a cookie on every order. They're upselling, they're suggestive selling, they're doing the add-on sales. We can see that not just at the end of the month or the end of the week, but today, what's happening today, which manager is doing what at what time. So.
With the computer skills, Tara's computer skills, Mike, we neither one of us had computer skills. We're self-taught that this is not an IT person's job. I mean, this is not somebody has to be IT specific. This
There's
is
a lot of operations involved in it. You
lot
have to know what you're looking at. You can't just look at it. You have to know what it
Yeah.
means and what what good is and what bad is, or what the gray area is. So it's almost more of an operations end. You can't just list a bunch of numbers if you don't really know what they mean. So.
Yeah, we kind of had specific goals for food costs. We had that old blanket, okay, everyone should run a 24% food cost, and we went by that. Then we, doing things manually, we tried to come up with an ideal food cost, doing it the old-fashioned way, to now with everything is very specific to your demographics, to your customers, to everything in your market. If you sell a lot of chicken, you're going to have a lot higher food costs. If you sell a ton of roast beef, you're going to have a lower food cost. We really be specific with that, but our food cost, to put a number on it, I believe we're anywhere from 3 to 5 tenths better than the national average in food cost, and an annual sales of us is something 25, 26 million in sales. That equates to that's bottom line, go to the bank money. And we attribute that to 99%. DUMAC and 1% our diligence in using numbers provided.
The managers in our restaurants have a lot more details at their fingertips. Where before, again, it would take a month and they'd get their number and they'd say, "What can I do about it?" Now they can do daily inventories, weekly inventories, monthly inventories. They can go look at their peppered bacon usage for the afternoon yesterday if they want to, and they can look at their own numbers and be more involved in their own restaurants, which leads to that 0.5% savings. Because our managers in all of our restaurants have more details at their fingertips. It isn't just our end of it where we're looking at the numbers whenever we need to. They're looking at it in the restaurant every day too, so it's helping them all become better general managers as well.
It didn't matter what was wrong with what DUMAC was doing or information we were getting. It didn't matter, 15 years ago, 16 years ago. They would find a way to fix it, regardless of whose problem it was. And I think that's always been, I always said that when I talk to other franchisees that have called me asking about DUMAC, that I would always use that whether whose problem it is, they're going to fix it. And not look to place blame or whatever. They will fix 100% of the things that are wrong out there. So when I kind of saw that we'll take care of this, that kind of always been your culture anyways.